Let's see. Yes, you're
Oh,
there.
I am. I made it.
Hey, is that the wall
I
you
made it.
painted gray you told me about?
I did. I painted this gray. It's just like a flat gray so that you don't focus on the wall, you focus on me. So,
Yeah, well, there you go. As you can
mm.
see, I have the opposite. I don't want you to focus on me. I want you to focus on all this. Can you
Oh, I
see all
like that
that?
wholesome. Yeah, I do. I like the Wholesome Grove poster,
It is pretty
which
cool.
I would not be in unless you had also got me in that one.
Oh,
So,
that's great. I
yeah.
forgot that. I actually I do really do try to if I meet someone I like, I try to include them as someone ask anything, I always bring up people. So,
Yeah, you are really, really great at plugging in actors and getting them connected to people. And so,
yeah.
yeah. And
Thank
I
you.
still have those scrubs from Wholesome Grove, and I've used those on auditions. I've used those on headshots. So,
That is
Eric
awesome.
Willis saved the day for sure.
I had a priest outfit in
Uh-huh.
a movie in 2019. They gave me a priest shirt with the little lapel. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
And they gave me a little hat too. I gave the hat back to him, but I've kept it. I've worn it in a short film and I've worn it other times in an audition, and
Yeah,
so it's pretty
it
cool.
works.
Well, hey,
Yeah, speaking,
I
go
want to get
ahead.
started and focus on you.
Okay.
I wanted to first off, I'm going to ask just a couple really simple questions
Okay.
because it's Kansas City and the film industry.
Hmm.
So tell me about how you ended up in Kansas City. I know you're not from here.
Ooh, I end up here. The real story is that I ended up here because of a man that I'm no longer with.
Yes. We
And
send out
so,
recruiters.
yeah, so he's great, he's wonderful, but yeah, we're not together. But yeah, I came here because of him, and I started teaching here in Kansas City, and I loved it so much. My family was like, you could move back to Texas, I could move back to New Mexico, but I really like Kansas City. And every time I visit other places, I am happy to come back. I consider Kansas City my home.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how long did you teach? And what did you teach?
I taught for 6 years, actually. 6 years, and we're talking middle school all the way down to first grade was the lowest I got. So
Wow.
middle school math and science.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Did
Uh-huh.
you, I guess, did you like teaching overall?
I did. I mean, you know me, I'm a character. I'm a character full of life and all kinds of things like that. So it was just a really great time to be able to like, I don't know, bring in projects and expose kids to things and get really excited. I love to read. I think that if I weren't an actress and a comedian and all of these things, I would be a librarian because I just loved plugging books into kids'
That's
hands.
awesome.
So,
Awesome. And
yeah.
then tell us about your involvement with the film scene here in Kansas City as and elsewhere.
Yeah, so I mean, I audition as often as I can. Let's see, I've got a commercial right now that's running for Fox 4. One of
Wow.
their stories, one of their feel-good stories. Let's see. I just got done filming Black Hookah today. I auditioned for that and I made the role for it. So
That's awesome.
yeah, that was really fun. Let's see. I've done a few IFC competitions. I'm an IFC member, IFC KC member. So yeah, getting
Very
around in the
cool.
scene.
Very cool. Very cool. I know you've done a lot of different things and you do improv regularly. Can you tell me about what that means?
Yeah, so a lot of time you will catch me at the Bird Comedy Theater, doing sketch comedy, stand up, as well as improv. So, and even until very recently, I've become very busy, but I was hosting the Improv Jam weekly. So,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Wow. And I know you have been in a lot of movies locally. Um, we've shared some of those together, but I know you have
Mhm.
a big role in a Tanner Smith movie that's just about done. What
Yes.
was your role in that? What did you do?
Yeah, so I played Jessie. It's a college student who has MS. And the way she's going through this whole friend group thing, it's a group of three friends, and they're just going through some teenage, college age stuff. And
Yeah.
so that was a
That-
really fun role because I had to learn about MS from Tanner, and Tanner does have MS, so it was just very interesting to like, okay, well, how do you walk with a cane, and like,
yeah.
what do you do? So.
So what all did you do to prepare for that? Because that's a little different than typical roles you've done.
Yeah, I think I'm very lucky. I didn't know a close friend of mine actually has MS, and I had no idea. We meet weekly for like a goals meeting. Every week I meet with them and we just like share our goals and stuff like that. And she had mentioned infusions being part of that. And it's like, oh, it's infusion time. And I never asked her. But once I started the role, once I told them that I got this role, she was like, "Oh, I have MS, and that's you've been hearing about my MS this entire time, and you just didn't know." And I was like,
Wow.
"Oh, oh." So picking the brains of friends was pretty much all I needed. Was like,
You know, your story almost sounds like relationships men have, where someone's talking about something and you never ask, what are you talking about?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Bubble, bubble. I was like, well, it was medical stuff, so you don't know if you're not, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
to create a safe space, but you don't want to like prod and like figure that part out. And I'm like, if you need an accommodation for any reason, like just advocate and I'll give it to you. But yeah, and maybe being a better friend meant that I should have asked those questions. But I'm very lucky that my friends are very forgiving and they understand where my heart is. And so after that point, I was like, oh, not that I treated this person any differently because she always asks for what she needs. She's very, very plain and
Yeah.
clear about what she needs. So, yeah.
Well, and I know you've done modeling as well.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I did some modeling for Hey Lou. Also some like skincare brand stuff. There's something that I'm in that's coming out soon. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it, but it's here in KC. And so did some modeling for that, some print modeling, and even in Eureka Springs. That was the most wild one.
What was that?
Eureka Springs is like a tourism thing. So
Sure.
you have people go out there. And so they sent me and a few other actors to Eureka Springs to go and do all the tourist stuff. So it was really fun. And they just
That's
took
awesome.
pictures and videos of it. So yeah.
That's
But
really cool.
actually,
You were on the cover of a magazine
oh
in
yeah.
the Netherlands. I remember that.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah. Rachel Hollingsworth, she does these like really cool giant dresses in nature and she just has like she just posted on one of the modeling pages that she needed someone who would wear this and had big fluffy hair and I was like, "How fluffy you want it? We can make it real fluffy for you." Okay. She's like, as fluffy as you can get it. And I was like, okay. And so we did that. And it's so crazy because, like, one job, one event always leads into the next one. So while I was driving back from there, I got the call that I was going to be in a Mazuma commercial as we were leaving doing that. So it was just all like meshed together.
Wow.
That's just yeah. And like one of my first ever paid modeling gig actually, when I was on set, I was messaging Robbie Lopez about River Beauty.
That's
So I
awesome.
was booking that job while on the
Yeah,
yeah, on a
yeah.
different
And
job.
tell us about River Beauty.
Oh, River Beauty still feels like I was a crook to have gotten in there. I can't believe I got that role. I play Bethany, who's like the assistant. Obviously, Kyla Mitt's in there, amazing. And it was a lead role, and I still couldn't believe it was real. I was like, oh my goodness, they're trusting me with this. And they were like, yeah, you seem legit. And they just like, it was like somebody handing you a newborn baby. It's like,
Yeah,
here, hold this. And you're like, ah.
yeah.
So,
Absolutely. I'll tell you one of the things that you said to me that was one of the highest compliments you can give somebody when you don't realize you're giving a compliment. In the scene, I look at you mean as hell, like I'd disgusted with you or say something
mm.
to you. And then you were registering after we were filming because then I'm being normal and nice to you. And you're like, oh, you were acting. I thought I was just
That
this
sounds like
horrible person.
it's very smart, says stuff that's kind of weird. I don't know. It just comes, that's how my brain works. So, yeah, that sounds
I
like,
thought it was really nice though, because it's like you realized I wasn't the character I was playing. I like,
yeah,
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 that was
yeah.
funny.
That's good acting on your part.
Yeah,
Really,
that's
really good
really good.
acting.
Yeah, yeah. I thought you did an exceptional job in that. Every scene that we were in, and we were in at least a dozen, I would think, scenes together. And I thought you did an exceptional job, as well
Yeah.
as, Michaela, whatever. Trying to think of his last name. I can't think of his last name.
Mikael. Yeah. Mikael.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Amazing job.
Michael's his first
Yeah.
name, Matson, Michael Matson. Yeah. I
Yes.
thought he did an exceptional
Yes.
job as
He
well.
did.
He's a really good actor he's from Sweden, but he lives in LA now, and they brought him into Kansas City, which is wonderful. Um, I love it when they bring people in, but they're not the only ones on set,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they've done that. So well, I thought you did a wonderful job in that
That job,
movie. Wonderful
it taught
job.
me so much. I really, really, that warms my heart, but it taught me so much, especially about like Robbie likes to film for like lot of time. Like that was I think that was like a 12-hour day, 13-hour. It was late. Everyone we had
Yeah.
just like hit, and that was a moment where I was like I had hit a brick wall where I couldn't remember anything. I was like I couldn't
Oh,
function at one point. And so it was like I was almost like running a marathon. Like you had to like mentally like
well, it's
I'm here,
hard.
I'm gonna make
Yeah,
it.
if you have like, and honestly, I think like all three of us had over 100 lines to remember, probably each.
Oh yeah, I
I didn't
forget you
count those,
count.
but I'm sure they were over 100 lines, 100, 150 lines, whatever it was. And you're in multiple scene after scene
Yeah.
after scene, and you're doing it in just a short period of time, 12-hour days in a short period of time. It's really hard to be 100% the whole time. I mean,
It is.
eventually you're going to trip up doing that much filming. And
Right.
but I think overall people did wonderful jobs. It's just
Oh
hard to be
yeah.
100% for that length of time.
Yeah. I think
Uh,
also it's like one of the first times like Robbie can cook. So
yeah, he
those
is a good cook.
meals, and he's a great cook. And the fact that we were just like, I was very, that was like it's my first feature film. And so, and to have a lead in your first feature film is just wild to me. But to be in that cabin
Yeah,
with all of y'all and like all of these people who were like actors and singers and just like it was just an artist room. And I had never been in that kind of room before. So it's like I almost didn't even want to go to sleep because I was so busy picking the brains of all the amazing people who were in
it is.
there.
It is wonderful. I'll tell you something that Michael Madsen told me he does, which I have not done yet, but I appreciated the advice. He memorizes the last part the most and then goes backwards. And he said that way, whenever he starts, once he gets started, he can finish because he knows the end
Yeah.
better. And I just thought that was an interesting approach.
Yeah, he definitely
Um,
taught me that and I've passed that information on to others and
have you ever done it?
I have. I
Okay,
have.
okay. Well, so you're
And
smarter
what's
than me. You've done it.
well, yeah. I mean, I do a lot of sketch comedy with the birds, so we're talking about like, I mean, at least 4 or 5 scripts a month, and that's just the bird, just those
Wow.
sketch scripts. So,
Wow.
so yeah, so I would say I have to come up with a bunch of lines, and that's
Hey,
something I constantly work on is my memory and being able to recall things. So, like even on my phone, I have little games that are little memory games and stuff like that to help just work that memory. I got to get it moving.
now I know whenever you were a teacher,
Uh-huh.
you had a typical set schedule to an extent. You knew what you were doing Monday through
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah.
What is your schedule like this week? What has your schedule been like? Or last week? Just pick a week. What was your schedule like?
Okay, so I've been working a day job, so that's been happening from
Okay.
like mornings to like afternoons. It's like part-time, so I've been doing that. I wake up at probably 6 a.m. and I do writing. So I do the artist pages from what is that book called? Oh, I can't even. It's The Artist Way. The Artist Way. So I write for probably about 30 minutes a day. Then I do my yoga and my meditation, get ready for the day, that kind of thing. At the office, probably about 9 o'clock, clocking out at like 3. And then every night I either have a rehearsal or I have a rehearsal or a class. I'm in like two different acting classes right now,
Wow.
or I have a show. Today was wild. Okay, so what did I do today? I woke up, I was on set for Black Hookah this morning. And then after Black Hookah, I went to Casey Pride Fest and I was on stage for that. So I did stand up there. And then after that, I came home because I'm going to the UK to do comedy in November.
Are
So
you really?
yeah, so I'm going with the sketch comedy group. This is the third festival we've gotten into. We've already done San Francisco, we did New York, and now we're gonna go to the UK. We're going to
That is fantastic.
whole comedy festival. So I had a meeting about that. And then I had a meeting. I'm gonna be in a feature film on next Friday in St. Joseph. Joe? Do you call it St. Joseph or St. Joe?
St. Joe.
Okay, I'm gonna be in St. Joe. And so I had a meeting about that. And then now I'm on a podcast.
Wow. Tell me about the
The
St. Joe. What or a movie are you doing?
it is called, okay, all right. I know it's gonna be some sort of scene. I'm gonna play a nun. I'm playing a nun.
Okay.
And I just got the script. Like,
Oh,
I haven't even opened it
so
yet.
you don't know what it's about.
I know what it's about. I don't know if I'm supposed to say. It is a Christmas story.
Okay, okay. That's
It's a
okay.
Christmas story. Yeah.
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 Christmas Story in St. Joe.
Yeah, and I'm playing a nun.
I was in a horror movie in St. Joe not too long ago.
Oh,
And
okay.
they're still filming part of it. So when you said that, I thought maybe we were in the same thing, but didn't know it.
Listen, I would love that for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great. If you introduce yourself, do you list everything when you introduce yourself? Like, let's say you're meeting someone for the first time. Do you say, like when they say, what do you do? Do you make a laundry list of what you do? Or do you, if you were to just say one thing, what would you say?
Uh, I'd probably say create busy.
Busy.
I would say number one, and I think about even on my rest days, I'm busy. So I would
Yeah.
say one word that encompasses it would be busy, busy.
Busy.
The second word would be probably creative because there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, I've been taking myself out on dates weekly. And like last week, a couple weeks ago, I did glass blowing. I took myself to go see Fat Ham last week. So yeah, so just I pack my days full of stuff.
You're living your best life.
For sure. For
Well,
sure. Yeah.
you're I went and saw your stand up.
Uh-huh. You did. Thank
I
you.
thought you were absolutely hilarious. You were the best one that night. You were
Ah!
so funny. I honestly, I mean, like, I think you should blow up. You should blow up. Your comedy should blow up. The sketch thing is good if you're getting ready to go over to do comedy in different
hmm
places. Can you possibly do stand up while you're in the UK somewhere?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I've been to New York and I did open mics there. I haven't really tried. That's my next like thing. So it's like the world is a buffet. And I can spend my time on mashed potatoes, which I love, and I've been wanting some recently, but I can spend my time on mashed potatoes, which is acting, or I can go from the prime rib, which is, comedy, or you know what I mean, those kinds of things. And so I
That is
have to
awesome.
figure out that balance because acting, all of them take a large amount of time.
Yeah,
The sketch
absolutely.
comedy, the acting and getting better at it and like continuing to like sharpen those muscles and then writing jokes and then performing regularly and submitting to festivals and stuff like that. And so it's like it's a juggling act. And I have to figure out which balls to have rotating at a moment.
Yeah.
Love may
Well,
not be limited, but time is.
hey,
So,
I'm going to just show you. I had a few pictures that I just wanted to ask you about.
uh-huh.
Not going to do anything too rough on you here. Let me find. There's my desktop.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there it is. Sorry, I'm having trouble sharing my screen. Okay.
No, you're good. I see you. Disney
Hoping I'm
Plus.
not. Okay. All right.
Is it?
Can you see that?
Yeah, I see Dream People.
All right, what is that about? Tell me what that's about. And I've actually
Ah.
seen it, so you're not really telling me, but tell other people what it's about.
uh, so Dream People, I play Mac, and you see me there, and I am one of the people that's in your dream and is like trying to push you to do different things. And so it's the story of this girl who is a dream person, and she wants to have a better role. She's used to playing a background role, and she wants a more prominent role in people's dreams and helping change their lives. And so, what I really love about this one is I got to wear all different costumes from like horror movies because it's supposed to have like a funny horror aspect of it. So
Yes, yes,
I think that's a Freddy Krueger
yes,
sweater
that looks
that
like
I'm
him.
wearing. And so I had that. I had a little Jason moment. Yeah, so it was a really good one. But yeah, I'm glad you saw it. I really enjoy that one.
Yeah, that was good. Let's see. Let's see.
Have
What in
you
the
seen?
world is this?
Okay, that is a giant sperm. Uh, that's a sketch
Oh, whoa,
comedy.
whoa.
I
This
used
is
the
for nice gentlemen and
anatomical.
ladies to watch.
You picked it.
I didn't know what I thought it was a whale or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was a whale of a sperm. I don't know. Sperm whale, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. That one was a sketch, and it was just about this guy who left a sample, one of those semen samples. He left one. And so I played the doctor, and I was coming out, and I was like, okay, I just have a question. Most men have millions of sperm, but you only have one giant sperm. And this sperm was singing. So it just like went through the
Oh
audience.
my
It was a
God.
giant puppet that pretty much went through the audience.
That is
And I hope it
hilarious.
comes back.
That is hilarious. One more. I didn't know what this was.
Also a sketch comedy one. I so that was for a show called Road Rage, which was put on by Truck Noises, and that was for Women's History Month. And Casey Barta was the director on that one. And I played, this was like a recurring sketch. Like throughout the show, you kept seeing my character come back, and they were trying to figure out why the traffic was stopped. And so well, I came up upon a group of cars and they were like opening up a nail salon outside, kind of thing while the traffic was all stopped. So I'm just trying to figure out why that's happened. So that's me in my little car.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. You've done a lot of sketch comedy.
Yes. Yes. And I want to continue to do more. I love it. I love the idea of like being able to play multiple characters in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, I so far I haven't seen anything that you're bad at.
Ah,
Like I said, the acting I thought was awesome. Your stand-up, I almost feel like your stand-up. I have not watched your improv, but your
uh-huh.
stand-up was so exceptionally good
Yeah.
that I mean, it was funny. Uh, it was just slightly edgy, but then you pulled back like it was just really, really good. You could make it on a network. Do you have any jokes that maybe you would like to tell us?
No.
Okay. Oh, she's shy. The
No. It's
improv
not even
stand-up
that.
lady is shy.
Uh-uh. The thing about it is there's so many shows. The way stand-up works is it really is like, I mean, telling you a joke is like, I could tell you like, why did the chicken cross the road or something along those lines, something that's small like that. But when you want to get into like, me and who I am as a person, it's kind of better to just like see it
Okay.
in its whole kind of thing.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Too much to
yeah, but
ask.
the
I'll tell you,
craziest thing
I have Ryan McChesney. Do you know Ryan McChesney?
I do,
Yeah.
yes.
He is a comedian on a show in Branson now.
Oh, yeah.
And he was at Second City and all that stuff. And he's really hilarious. He used to do
Hmm.
music around town. I did the same thing. I said, "Hey, can you tell us a joke? Tell us." And he's like, "Oh no, I don't have my guitar. I want to sing." He did the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah, you can't. That's so
It's
weird. And
just a
like
different atmosphere.
I was getting like waxed one day, and some lady was like, "Oh, you're a comedian. Tell me a joke." And I was like, "Lady, I can't. Not right. Like,
Yeah.
you're pulling hair off of my body. I cannot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
can't
probably
make you
the
laugh."
very different. You walk up and you, of course, have to adjust the mic.
Dang.
I
Ow.
thought,
I didn't know it was one of those podcasts.
yeah, no, no, no. But no, I watched your show. You walked up, and the first thing you did was adjust the mic and gripe about how big it was. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
funny the way you did it. So you're just
It's
a naturally kind of a
it
funny person on stuff.
Thank you. Same with you, I'd say.
Hey, where did you go to school? Did you go to school in Texas or New Mexico? I can't remember.
Are we talking about college? I went to
Yeah,
college in New Mexico.
New
High
Mexico.
school was in Texas, and then some middle school in Louisiana, and then elementary
Wow.
school. Yeah.
So you're working your way north, I guess.
I
Where in Texas were you from, or what general
Austin.
metro?
Austin. But
Austin.
I've also went to school, so a lot of high school I spent was in Dallas Fort Worth area. So,
Oh, okay. I
hmm
lived in Dallas for a year, so
It's
I lived in
great.
Irving.
Wow, I know where that is.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I just the Dallas was so huge. I think unless people go there, it's hard to comprehend that their suburbs are hundreds of thousands of people, and most major cities, you get outside of New York and LA or Chicago, like most suburbs are 20,000, 100,000. Their suburbs are 400,000 and
Yeah,
like 10 of them that are these huge places.
it's because you don't have to pay taxes. I
Yeah,
think
it's
that's
absolutely huge. They're growing wonderfully.
a beautiful
Um,
place.
so you said you were working on Black Hookah. What
Yes,
is that?
yeah, it's a series. So it's Black Widow season two. Season one is on YouTube, but they're coming out with the season two. And yeah, I played just a day player character and
Yeah.
walked on today, did my little scene, and was out of there. They've got like recurring characters and stuff like that, but it's put on by Robert Coppage the third.
Okay.
I think it's his brainchild.
That's
He's
good.
got a few
What do you
people.
like when you do acting? Do you want like those lead roles like you had in, is it Exile is what it's called?
Yes.
I have a scene in that too.
Ooh, yeah, I did know that. You play a
Okay,
dad.
I do. I did, and I have to tell you, this is what I'm going to ask you because I have my own opinion,
Uh-huh.
which has changed over the years.
Uh-huh.
Would you rather walk in like you did in Black Hookah and do a one day and done, and you're a part of the project, but you're not having to study all the lines and perform, or would you rather have a big role like you had in Exile where you study the lines and you go in and perform and not like which do you prefer?
I prefer to be busy.
Okay, you want the big.
No, I just prefer to be busy. And so it's like little roles, small roles. Like if I can make it work, if I can fit it in my schedule, I will do it. There's not many projects where I've been like, no, I can't. And for
Okay.
some reason, I'm very, very lucky. Things have just worked out the way they needed to. Like for instance, I was supposed to be in a parade this morning for there's a Juneteenth parade that was happening this morning, and I was supposed to be on a float in it. And then Black Hookah was like, "Hey, do you want to audition for this role?" So I auditioned for the role, not knowing when it would film.
Hmm.
And so I would have had to cancel either the float or doing Black Hookah. One of those would have been an option. But then all of a sudden, the parade float didn't work out. And so it just all kind of worked out for me to be able to do that. And I couldn't film tomorrow because I'm going to be filming something else tomorrow.
What are you
So
filming tomorrow?
I'm filming in Lawrence, Kansas. It's for a social media like sketch thing.
Wow.
So yeah, that's gonna be in Lawrence. So I'm gonna be on set tomorrow for 10 hours
Wow,
in
that's gonna be a
Lawrence.
busy day.
Yeah, yeah. So I've got to travel to Lawrence in the morning. And so I just got my call sheet for that actually.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow. Hey,
it
I was
just
going to tell you the Eureka Springs thing you were talking about. I was
uh-huh.
a finalist for that. And then I pulled myself out because it was such a long drive and they didn't provide a place to stay. If I remember right, like I
Yeah.
looked at it, I really thought about it. And then I told the guy, hey, I'm not interested. So
Wow, that's wild. Because like
yeah,
I think
yeah,
you may I think you also may have made that better because they literally were like, oh yeah, and we'll give you a place to stay. So
yeah.
they must have
Okay.
changed that.
Yeah, that's why I told him I
Uh
didn't want to do it because I could stay in Springfield, but then it basically would have been a pain. And I told him I said it's just too far to go to not have a place to stay. And he told me thanks for telling me and not showing up and blah blah blah,
yeah.
And I said yeah, I said I wouldn't do that and oh well, but
I looked at it as a very small vacation.
Yeah, I
So
did too. I love going to Rica Springs.
I'd never been before, but it's such a cool town.
It is so different than the rest of,
Hmm.
like Arkansas, typical Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like a very small liberal town,
Hmm.
an art community.
Yes.
There's all these art stores and art for
Hmm.
sale.
Yeah. I even
Um,
got to go to the haunted hotel, but I think it's like Eureka Springs is such a beautiful, it's a beautiful, nice place. So I'm very, like, it did help to have the room. It helped to have the room. And it helped the fact that, like, they were already going to take you on all these different adventures. So you
yeah,
really just had to enjoy it.
it would have been fantastic.
And I would
I'm
have run
glad you
into
went. I'm glad you went.
you.
That would have been hilarious if I would have run into you there. I
Oh,
would have laughed so
gosh.
hard just seeing
If
you.
I didn't know you were even in the running for it, it's like, nah,
Yeah.
we could have made it a trip.
Yeah,
But
no, I think it was like
I'm not a good driver.
2 or 3 weeks before as when I told him I just don't want
Yeah.
to. So,
Yeah.
but it's okay. Also, I travel for work and then to have
Yeah.
to like leave when I'm home for a couple days, like, ugh,
Yeah.
too much, too
That
much.
was a very interesting one for me because it was like they wanted you to have wardrobe in like specific colors and stuff like that. And so like I had to take all the like rack through all of my clothes and take pictures and send them what I was, and then they picked out outfits for me. And I was
Oh,
like, oh, so it was really cool to like know what your wardrobe was going to be before you got there.
that is nice. That's nice.
It was
Yeah.
nice.
Are they gonna show those in Kansas City?
I don't know. I have seen, I think it's like well, I don't know. I know it's on YouTube. I know the actual ads on there. Visit Eureka. But
Yeah, yeah, that's really
I
cool.
would love to do another one of those shoots
I'm
because they
gonna
were
write
so
down
awesome.
Visit Eureka. I'm gonna try to look it up and see if I can
Yeah.
find you there.
Yeah. I think the one I saw online, I'm just like a little bloop,
Yeah,
just a little, I got paid, but I was a
yeah,
very small portion of that.
that's very cool. Hey, when you went to college, there in New Mexico, of course.
Uh-huh.
I know you became a teacher. Did you
Yes.
take any theater classes or acting classes?
I did not. So I was really big into theater. So I was a kid model. I
Okay.
was a kid model and I was really big into theater up until uh, high school, actually. And then high school, I just like went a whole different path and I was like, no acting for me. So I had to pass by the theater every single day to go to my education classes. And I was like, if I can't do art, then I'll teach. And I
Yeah.
didn't even teach art. I taught, math and science kind of thing. So we just went completely the other way.
Wow.
Yeah, but I know, like, I mean, I've always had love for the arts in there because I went to go see Hello Dolly and I was just sobbing watching the show. And it's like, Hello
Wow.
Dolly's good, don't get me wrong. But I was
Yeah.
like, no, I think it was just like this internal, felt like I was dying and I should be doing something more with my life, or not something more because teaching is a beautiful thing, but something different for me.
Yeah. So you decided when you were doing education, did you
Uh-huh.
start when you were doing education? When you were a teacher, did you start going out and doing creative things?
I mean, I don't think creative things ever stopped. But
Okay.
yeah, COVID is when I like signed up for my first improv class at the Kansas
Okay.
City Improv Company with Tim Marks. And I remember going to that class and it being like I felt so free, so free. And it was just an amazing group of people. And I'm still friends with a lot of the people that I've made in that class, that first improv class or my first improv day I showed up. I'm still really good friends with a lot of them. So.
Wow. So you did that during COVID? Did they like teach online or how were you teaching?
Oh, so I meant post-COVID. Post-COVID when we came back in person. So my first
Okay.
improv class was in person. So it was
Okay. Okay.
after
So,
COVID.
all
But
right.
COVID is
So
when
you
really
started,
like linchpin of like we can't do this anymore.
yeah.
We can't continue to teach. It's not fair to anybody else and it's not fair to me.
Yeah. So that's when you started doing improv. When
Yes.
did you first do stand-up comedy?
Oh, I have a video.
Put
I
it
want to
on, share
say,
your screen.
oh no, I'm not ready. No, it's so. Actually, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But I think that's a lot of like the thing about like first time comedians is they'll go out there and they have this, it's almost like you have this story in your heart that you've been wanting to tell for so long. And then you get on stage and you see their excitement, everything like that. And first time comedians usually kill. Like they just knock it out of the park because they don't know, they're not worried about anybody. And once they get past initial nerves, they're great. So it was a really good set.
That's
I
awesome.
did I did really well for my first time.
When did you do that? What year was
It
that?
was probably I want to say 2023. I want
Okay.
to say. I want to say it took me a little bit of time, but I was invited by one of my good friends, Nathan Thomas, and he was just like, "Hey, you really like improv, so you should come and do stand up." And I was like, "Okay, I'll try." And I did it one time, and then I didn't do it again for a while.
Yeah. You have an excellent act. I do have a question like, what advice would you give to somebody who wants to do acting, comedy, improv? Like what advice would you give?
I think I like. Oh, wow. Okay. Advice. One piece of advice.
Yeah. We can give more than one if you have more than one.
Yeah, I would say getting in a good class would be like my first step. And it could be a good improv class. Improv, I think, was really helpful for me as far as acting because you didn't have to remember lines. So it's just like
Mhm.
basics of character and stuff like that. So it's just like I feel like improv's great with like, can you trust yourself and your brain enough to be able that you'll find something funny? Can you sit in uncomfortable silence on stage? Can you create a character kind of thing? So it's like very, very broad stroke, paint on canvas type of situation.
Mhm.
And then from there, it's like, well, what do you like about this? And then you can move into the more specialized things. But I think improv should be for everybody because it really helps you to be able to talk with others. It helps you to be able to like, just like express yourself and find out who you are as a person and how others see you. Because what I notice a lot of times in improv is that in improv, like I can come out on stage and I can say, I'm a snail. And it's true. I am a snail, right? But I still bring my physical self with me there. So people would physically see me as being a girl snail, right? Right? They'd be like, okay, I believe you're a snail, but you're also a girl snail. And you're this kind of snail based on how you look. And improv a lot of times can like challenge those things, but also it gives you a lot of idea about how you're perceived in the world. Now, what you do with that, you do with that. Sometimes it's depressing. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's really great and empowering.
That's awesome. That's awesome advice. That is awesome advice. I do have another question. Would that
Yes.
be the same advice you would give up or give to someone who wants to do stand-up comedy?
Yeah, I would.
So improv would be your advice for actors and for stand-up comedians.
Yes, I think the only other thing I would say is, oh, yeah. There's one other piece. The artist way. I think the artist way is probably, and actually, me and my friends are going to be doing an artist way book club, and it's going to be starting up in August. And that book right there, it's a 12-week course, and it just like it really helps you dial into who you are as a person and as a creative. And it's a class, but it's like a self-done one. So
It's interesting.
yeah,
That's
yeah. So if you check
interesting.
it out,
So you're going to start a class in August for that or a book club?
book club, because it's not like we're teaching you anything. We're just using the book. The only thing that we're doing is creating, because once you start the artist way, you'll have a lot of like it can create a lot of feelings of wanting to share your experience. And so it'd be really awesome. When I was doing the artist way for the first time, which I'm going to do it again, obviously. But when I did it the first time, it was very helpful to talk with my friends about it every single week. It was just so helpful and just hearing about other people's experiences and gave you new ideas. And so it was really beautiful. So yes, so we are going to be starting that in August after Fringe Festival because Fringe Festival is crazy and fun. But yes, so
Wow. So I guess how do you prepare for roles, acting roles? How do you prepare?
how do I prepare? So usually I print out my scripts I
Mhm.
print them out. I like having a hard copy of them. And I've been taking Amy Linden's class. Amy Linden has a 15-step technique that she has perfected. And I've been taking her class, and so lately that has been the thing.
And what is Amy Linden's class like? How does that help people?
It's just like she has a technique. So there's like 15 different guidelines that you go through, and it's basically like step one. One of the first steps is you're reading the script a bunch of times, and she only does a weekend intensive. So you take a weekend intensive class on a Saturday for like 4 hours. And then after that point, if you'd like to stay in her regular class, you can. And so you go to
That's
that.
cool.
So yeah, but you're continuously learning. Like last week, I played a werewolf girl in
Oh,
class. The
very
week
good.
before that, I think I was in a blue blood scene, playing some snooty college girl. So yeah, it's just all different kinds of
Is
roles
it
and stuff.
online or in person?
It is online.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a Zoom class, which I think I like. I like Zoom classes. I
Yeah.
know a lot of people like, I know and I realize that being in person is very helpful to vibe off of people and things like that. I get that. I understand. But an online class where I don't have to drive anywhere,
Yeah. Some
where I can have my
advantages to that.
favorite snacks,
Yeah.
yeah, like, oh, I like it. So.
So what's been your biggest accomplishment since you left teaching and you came over to the creative side? What's been your biggest accomplishment?
Oh man. So this really cool guy, his name's Kyle Ament. He invited me
Yeah.
on his
Yeah.
podcast, and oh, I was
This was
like,
your big
I
accomplishment.
have made it.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not. Is this the Casey Stars podcast? I
This
could
is the
have.
KC Stars, and you were in the first 10 guests, the
Yeah. So
first
I'm just.
season.
I'm, we're winning at life. I don't
That's
know
right.
what.
That's right. What's your
Yeah.
second biggest accomplishment?
Oh, okay. So there was this one movie I was in with Kyle Emmett.
You're doing improv. You're improv me.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Second greatest accomplishment. I've had so many cool ones. I'd say stand-up wise, I I'd have to, it's a tie because the KC Pride, like I was on the Pride main stage today doing stand-up comedy.
Awesome.
And that was just wild to me because it was like, I mean, it's a huge stage. Like it's like one of those big concert stages with the catwalk runway on it. And I was
Wow.
out there doing stand-up comedy. And so that was by far the biggest venue thing. But I also have done a show in Emporia for stand up, and that one was really cool too for like a benefit dinner. And that was wild, the amount of snacks they had. Um, Acting wise, I mean, the fact that I'm going to the UK to be able to do
Yes.
like even just getting into that boat thing, like it, even just being submitted and knowing that that's coming up in the future is really huge. But um, I actually was in I had my first trailer experience where I actually was an actor on set with a trailer, and that never had happened to me before. And the trailer had a remote control fireplace, and I was like, "Pfft,
You've made it.
yeah, my name was on the door.
Where was that in?
Yeah. It was actually here in Kansas City. The name of the film is Don't Move.
Don't move.
Don't move. Yeah. Yeah. And that was my first trailer experience. But it was just PAs coming up to me asking me, like, what would you like for breakfast? And I was like, I can have whatever I want. It's like Christmas. Oh, it's Christmas.
That is
That was really
awesome.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, you have anything else that you want to say that I haven't asked you about or anything else?
Huh. I, well, thank you. I just want to say thank you because I'm so excited that I got to be on this, and I appreciate all of your messages as far as like tonight at 7 o'clock, I'm gonna see you. And I was like, yes, 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 it's in my calendar. You're like, hold it in your calendar. And I was like, well, I get to talk to Kyle. And I'm just so grateful to you for one, creating this space, creating this content. This is so helpful for you and everyone. It's like a symbiotic relationship. And so and you for just being you. Like,
You are so nice. You were
you're
always so
really
nice.
great.
I love to see you on set. The thing is, like, I really was creating this for the purpose of and it needs to get bigger before it's going to fulfill its purpose. But for having a place for Kansas City performers, um, the whole thing is I've been in, well, we were in a project together where somebody came in from Los Angeles. I've been in a lot of projects. There's a group that I do a lot of things with, and they bring in people from LA mostly, but from Texas, from Ohio, from basically anywhere. And I really want more Kansas City people to get those roles
Yeah.
because sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. Like I've been in two this year with that group. They're wonderful people. The one they brought in a guy from LA, but the girl was from Kansas City as the main two, and then the other one they brought in two people from LA as the main two. So, um, and I really like it when they brought in the Kansas City person. Because I feel like there's so many talented people here. It's just people don't know who they are sometimes,
Right.
and you're getting known.
Working on it little by little chunk by little chunk.
Yeah,
And it's cool to see the spaces move. And
yeah,
also for you too.
yeah. Thank you. I'm proud of you. Glad you decided to make Kansas
Ah,
City your home.
duh. Yes, for
All
sure.
right. We'll see you. Have a good night. Thanks for being a part of
Bye.
it.
Thank you.